want to talk a little bit about this block. It's really important, as I said before, that we lift up these artists. Very little is often said about this particular woman. We don't see a lot of Black women editors. I think that people don't understand the process, what goes into making a film, and the fact that she is one of the best editors that came, in her time and forever. I think is important for us to understand that story and understand her. So. Thank you for, it's my sister Allison is my co-director, as you know, one of her favorite films at the festival, and I just, I'm glad that you were able to see it. But we're here at Nigel, the Frame Buffet. Come on up.
It's kind of surreal because I was in this auditorium a few years ago and I saw this 7-hour Hungarian film called Sunset Town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so when I was sitting there watching, I'm like, wow, like at the time, there was no way I would have thought I'd see my face on the screen. It was just magical to see all that. And Nikolai couldn't be here today. He and I collaborated on making this film. We met at this entrepreneur fellowship program called CEF, and it was about making building our marketing abilities better as creatives, and we were exchanging, our craft, the first day. And he's a photographer. He's done a lot of, cool film work as well. And he saw my work, and he's like, I've never seen an artist craft a piece in that way. And how do you do that? I want to, know more about that. I'm like, yeah, sure, man, come by. Well, I'll show you around how I do stuff. And a friend of his, Harris, she is a director of events at Hibernian Hall. And she saw my work and she's like, we want to do something, Nigel. This work is so cool. We want to put a show for you. And so we decided, you know what? Let's do a documentary in anticipation for the solo showing at Hibernian Hall, which was last year in December. We spent 7 months just doing film sessions, me working on a few pieces, and yeah, it was just very interesting the way he captured my process, seeing it from a perspective that I can never capture. I don't have that equipment that he has, so it was just amazing to just see how I put it all together through his lens and how it all came together through editing and everything. And knowing that it got accepted into the International Film Festival, I saw it. I was like, I didn't know that it got that level of attention. And I was just very grateful, and it was just a reminder, seeing all this. Just keep going. You said, as I said in the documentary, just keep working. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you. I think it's. So I do think it's important because I was talking about lifting up, and we did see this film in Harris. Terry, if you don't know, is the person behind all of the programs that happen at Hibernian Hall here in Roxbury, and does an amazing work in bringing, again, voices to theater and dance and music and art. And you have a piece there. You dedicated to it.
Yes, it's a piece that was shown in there. It's the piano-looking one. It's titled MC Shape. It was inspired by late 80s, early 90s, New Jack Swing era of hip-hop and R&B. It's music that I grew up listening to because my parents put on that music all the time. So, I made a piece that, was dedicated to that time in music. And Roxbury, for me, reminds me of that era. Just, when I think of, New Edition and New Jack Swing, that Bobby Brown and stuff. So I thought that piece was very fitting to be in that space. And Roxbury's home. I mean, it's been home since me and my family for generations. So yeah, a piece permanently needs to be in that community.
Yeah, and it's beautiful there. So when you're here right now. So I want to open up to anyone have any questions for Nigel?
On the piece with the piano on it, I was curious the process of how did you approach getting the piano keys? Did you have to cut up an entire whole piano?
So in college, for my senior thesis project, there was this old upright piano that was being thrown away. It was just a bunch of parts, and I asked the guy if I could save it. And I ended up making a sculpture out of that for the show at the end. And I saved, my piece. I didn't throw it out. And I just took a bunch of the keys that were still there and cut them up and collaged it into the shape, so it creates this kind of like musical jazzy looking effects.
And did you use other pieces from that same piano, like on other works?
I was thinking about doing it, but I just thought, just use the keys, and then my whole color palette and design would just work its way into that. And see what it does. I don't know, just being external.
So thank you so much for participating in this meeting. It was beautiful. So I'm Nyawa, I'm the founder of an organization called Kids in Art. And what we do, we provide art experiences to kids, lifting up artwork by with full of work. In this movie, we talk a little bit about like the tradition and more like the tradition of the knowledge that you see from the past and going on a construction project with it. And I'm curious about how you think about that, like as your role, like as an artist, and how you're seeing that information or that tradition to
Yes. As a kid, seeing my dad and his brothers constructing, building, creating things, and seeing what that's done for what their craft has done for others, that's something I want to emulate through my craft. And I do furniture building as well, so I'm making other crafting things, whatever. And me and my sweet. But if I'm around like other people or other kids or whatever, and they want to ask questions on how to do this or how to construct this, what tools that I use, I just give them information on how to build it or whatever.
You very much do that. You're very much connected to your community, very much give back to your community, which I think is an important part of your art, and also the sort of like recycling of the things that you do to make your art. So can you just talk just really briefly about sort of your journey? So, and getting to where you are now, having a film, seeing yourself on the big screen, but how does that feel? And where did that come from?
I just think it's just me just being in the moment of just whatever, just crafting, creating, being in school, working on my art and stuff. It just carried over into the jobs that I wanted post school. So anywhere I was crafting in some form of fashion. And outside of work, I want to go and make my own stuff. And things that I've learned from various jobs that I had, I applied to my own stuff. And it's what led to the shape work that I make now, where things that crafting methods that I've seen at work, I applied to my own, and then it spawned off into this, artistic experimental journey of going through this universe of shape one after another, and it's led to different showing opportunities and opportunities like this, and people wanting to collaborate with you and exchanging and crafting ideas, which I found myself being amongst other. Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for your film. Thank you for your work. We greatly appreciate it. So we are done for this block. Thank you, everyone. Let's give Nigel a hand.